Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, the Paradigm Shift, coming to you live yet again from the Twitch.tv universe. What's up, Twitch.tv/the_paradigm_shift. The link is in the description below. Click that, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I can't do this forever unless I grow. Hey, you with me? You've been checking out my videos for a long time, so what's up? Get every video to over double-digit views. What's up? What we doing? I want to talk to you about workplace environments. Now, we're going to keep this to one specific job because I feel like I deserve to split all of these stories of every job I've ever worked at into different segments to really milk out the content, you know? There we go. That's much better. So peep with me. As y'all as you may or may not know, I used to be a teacher, and I really enjoyed my job as a teacher. Just recently, I showed my entire stream a response that I had gotten to a segment I had done about one of the students that had changed my life coming in the course with them, and they responded to it, and it was one of the most beautiful things I think anyone has ever heard, let alone me, about things or my impact on someone. There was one school in particular that I used to work at. It no longer exists. I think they either tore down the building or I don't know, moved the kids out, which is part of the problem in the first place, but we'll get to that when we get there. You will not believe these motherfuckers. Okay. So I started working in this school under this umbrella program that I will not name because there's no reason to shit talk them, you know? Shit programs can be shit programs, but they can still do good for the community. It doesn't matter if like they do bad by 1 or 2 employees. It sucks, but it's whatever. Anyway, I got hired as a part of this like new initiative program they were trying to expand out, and they were looking for like the best of the best in like art, drama, you know, those type of teachers, you know, they were looking for. And I was like, hell yeah, I just came off of like a successful teaching stint at fucking the University of Pennsylvania. Of course I'm gonna fucking take this job. A lot of people talk about underprivileged schools. I want to talk to you about an underprivileged school that was also mixed with the remnants of a really privileged school. Basically, this school was one of them charter mixed schools where a bunch of these kids from, you know, the overflow from a really, really good school get sent to this school with, you know, kids who come from low income families. You know, we know what we're saying here, but we're keeping it clean for the YouTube audience. And so being thrust into the middle of that, it wasn't even a charter school. It was a public school. These both were public schools, but that other public school had, you know, those strict, you know, test requirements to get in. So the kids who like just scored but didn't get in got sent here. So, you know, it was obviously resources up for grabs. Some things were really complete, some things weren't. You know, some things were state of the art and some things weren't. Regardless of that, I'm not going to go into the culture of that school because, again, like I told you, that school is, you know, done. So there's really no point in digging up old stones. But while I was working at this job, I started to notice the massive divide between like the connections that, and I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, no funny shit, no disrespect, but we all know it's the real world, so we're not gonna pretend like it's not the real world. I really started to notice the difference between wealthy and poor students. And the mix between wealthy and poor black students was like terrible. You could tell like aggression patterns. You could tell, like, I grew up around who I grew up around, and it gave me a view that I could just tell where each one of these kids was coming from when they were trying to express themselves. These are middle schoolers we're talking about. So a lot of situations that I was put into, or a lot of situations that kids would ask my help on, really got to a personal level, because you got to remember, the privilege in a bunch of these kids allows me to not have to try to see through them. They're very transparent. And no, that's not a white joke. They were really transparent. They don't have filters because they don't live in a house where filters need to be addressed. For a lot of poor black families, a lot of poor black kids, you already know what it's like when your mom says, don't talk back to me. But I'm just saying, I don't want to hear what you're saying. It's like, you know, the world. And because of this no filter, I somehow became, and I really mean this, I'm skipping over a lot of intricate little stories about things that happen in day to day. But again, like I've already proven that the impact is there. So you should just take me at face value on like a personal story. I became kind of one of those de facto, like I'm the teacher that like people come to for their actual problems and not just schoolwork. And there was no bigger inclination of that than when I got in contact and started teaching drama for this school. And one of the students I had was somebody named Sarah RC. Sarah, same thing. I recognize my privilege. I'm a little woke, you know, but like I'm also dealing with terrible shit at home. And Sarah was one of those kids who was like, I know I'm talented, I know everybody likes me or whatever, but like, it's hard being me, especially when I'm at home. Like, I use this place as an escape sometimes. You know, it was that story. And I was able to successfully guide that student through most of that year on a personal level, just to help her survive the expectations of her parents. You've got to be perfect. You've got to be this. You've got to be that. And as I think back on it, I'm reminding myself, like, how intrinsically weird is it that the people who have the most impact are the ones targeted the most by the system? So I would love to spend an entire time talking about Sarah RC, but I ended up running into her like a couple of years ago, I think even before the pandemic, might have been 2019 or something, and she was doing great, and it was just such an amazing moment. She was like, that's my teacher, oh my god, and she's like, I missed you, hey, I'm doing so good, and you know, I remember everything that you like taught me, and like you really like helped me, and like everything's been playing out well, and I've thought about, you know, and I've walked it through my life, you know, with some of the lessons you've taught me, and it's helped me avoid the worst of people. And it was another one of them situations. I had gotten fired from that school because as a part of the program I was working for, they needed extra hands because they were hosting some like neighborhood day camp creator class something thing, and they were like, let's just pull everybody from the program to help. And I was like, yo, I'd love to make some extra money on a holiday. The funniest shit happened during the last day of that. I was like, yo, it's one more day, it's over, you know, ain't gotta worry about nothing. 3 of the kids that were in that program were very rambunctious, and I mean very rambunctious, like dangerously. But I guess they were kind of like the understood rambunctious kids, if we all get what I mean. So it wasn't really like they were, as long as they didn't wall out, you know, it was fine what they did. You know, you reprimand them, but there's no reason to take it any further. Y'all know my Burberry scarf. I've had that Burberry scarf for years now. One of these kids started pulling on it and wanted to like play tug of war with me with this Burberry scarf. And I'm like, this shit's $300 fucking dollars. Please stop. So the kids is wilding, and they start actually like acting up. So I immediately like, yo, look, this ain't my school, this ain't my program. I'm going to the director right now to let them know, like, you bugging. The child instead says, well, if you do that, I'm gonna call my mom and tell her you tried to beat me with a belt. Everybody turned and was like, we're all sitting here. We are all sitting here. What are you talking about? So my manager and the director come down, the principal come down, and they chilling, and I tell them like what's going on while she on the phone lying to her mother. So both of these things is, so they take her out the room. I'm sitting there, everybody's like, why is it always you? Why they always fucking with you? And I'm like, I don't know, like, because everybody in this program loved me at this point. Because I work at the one specific place and not in the general like population of being sent from school to school. So like I'm like, our group was like the celebrity group. We only pop around because we're the new guys. But y'all already know the end of this story. Black woman hears that her black child is being beat with a belt at a program. So she come up there in a rage. She like, who the fuck is he? Da, 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 this and that. Wallet. So it's a situation. We got to calm everybody down. Everybody's like, it does, like, we're just going to tell her that obviously didn't happen and blah, 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 this and that. Because they valued that mother's input in the neighborhood, instead of like looking at the video footage and whatnot, they simply just believed the kid and fired me. So when I tell you there was one kid who was Sarah, I gotta tell you there were classrooms full of kids that were coming to me with certain issues. I remember one kid who was just starting to learn that he had ADHD. And I was like, yo, like, you kind of have a lot of the things that I do. I can help you, like, really, like, train that, because you're a really smart kid. Eyes lit up. That's the kid who, if it's still around here, that's the kid who, yeah, that's the kid who made this for me. That's the kid who made this for me. There we go. Now we've come full circle on that one. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, the kid who made this for me. And the funniest shit that I ended up finding out, so we're skipping ahead because I want to tell you about the effect of the firing. That's the whole point of this segment. It is so funny because I ended up being really, really, really fucking drunk one night. I forgot what night it was. I just know it was hot as hell outside. And I was hanging out with a bunch of friends and we was just plastered. It was good plastered though, not like fall over, stumble, but it's like that everything is funny and we're all going home now so we can just laugh at everything type of like plastered. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you're over the age of 24, 5? Depends. And so I'm walking and I see one of my old coworkers and he's like, yo, Marquise? And I'm like, yo, and he's introducing me. He's like, yo, this is the dude I used to talk about at job, dude, yeah, that one. And he's like, yo, he tells me about how cool you are, bro, how much you do and everything. Yo, you a really good teacher from what I've heard. And so I'm drunk out of my mind and I'm just like, I do not want compliments right now. Because I will giggle and I will laugh and I will cry in that street. Why are you being nice to me? Where the fuck do you get off? So I was like, yo, how you been? Da da da, whatever. He immediately, like after I think 2 soft questions, he was like, yo, you know I don't work at that place no more, right? And I was like, why? Why not? Bro, it was a nice job, you know? And he was like, first of all, like they fired me because like I showed up late once and a kid complained that like they didn't know who I was. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm just drunk, so I understood that wrong. And they were like, yo, do you remember the kids that got you fired? And I was like, yeah, what about them? They was like, yo, like a week after that, they finally got expelled from the program for being disorderly and fucking with the staff. And he was like, yo, that's so funny because like they took their word to fire you and then just picked them out anyway. And that was when it clued into me. And now we can go back to the part of the story we were on. That was what hit me that beautiful, like I think it was February 10th or something. I just realized, yo, every single child, every single community, every single parent, every single dream, every single wish, every single project just all all.
See that is my nigga. But
My
remember
alert
fasting?
box is crazy. Thank you for the follow. So yeah, yo, and it was like I couldn't figure out enough ways to give my number to this person and trade with this and stay in contact with that and do this with that. It was like I need to make money. I need a new job. And that's when like I realized that like education, and I'm sorry for saying the word like so much, but that's when I realized that education was just not meant for individuals like me, motherfuckers that care. Cause like whatever type of system we have for at-will employment, tenured employment, like it's not enough to protect certain people, and it ain't been enough to protect me. I'm gonna have a lot of stories for you down the road about like each individual child that might reach out to me or whatever, or a memory that I have about a story. But I'm letting you know that it's all building to one thing. There are some people who do find their calling and the system doesn't even give it to them. What are those people supposed to do? You know what you can do? You can acknowledge your tribal chief. You can acknowledge your tribal chief by hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, hitting that bell to stay notified. And I will see you in the motherfucking next one.